In this video I'm going to go through how I've built my Huntress for building traps in Nightmare 4. Right now I think Huntress is probably the most versatile hero in that it provides the best DPS as a DPS build, which I'll go over in a separate video. And as a builder with the Elemental Chaos Uber, you can build both physical and magical resist lanes, which is very important for maps. And traps interact very well with both boost auras and frosty towers with frosty power. So to start off, I'll go over my spheres. As usual, for the small spheres, I use the defense attack rate sphere, defense power sphere, and the defense critical chance sphere. I will not use the small range spheres for the explosive or elemental chaos traps, especially because they only cover one trap at a time. That just makes it even worse. For the medium spheres, I use the Defentress increased 10% range. This helps quite a bit on the range of your spheres or your traps, so I use 2 of those. For the large sphere, I use the Fire for Effect sphere. This increases or gives a chance for explosive traps to detonate a second time without consuming a charge for 40% damage. So that actually increases their DPS quite a bit. And finally, for the Uber, I use the Elemental Chaos Uber Sphere, which is probably the best Uber in the game right now. This changes your explosive traps from physical damage to magical damage and gives them a elemental effect where if an elemental effect happens twice in a row, a special effect will happen on the target. Whether if it's frost, it'll freeze the target; earth, it will oil the target; fire, it adds a flaming damage over time; and storm, it deals 150% damage. So it's very useful, and as I said, probably the best Uber in the game, hands down right now. I would not recommend getting anything else for your first Uber. To look at my stats, I've maxed defense power, defense speed, defense range, and I put 15 into health and defense crit. As you're starting out, max out speed, because this will be your biggest increase in DPS, and then I would probably go for defense power, and then defense range, and then I've only put 15 into health and defense crit just to hit their soft caps, because I have quite a bit of health as it is, so I don't need to max it to 30. Now there's only 2 real stats, secondary stats, that you're looking for on your gear, and one of those is the tripwire stat on your bow, which increases explosive trap damage by a percentage up to 10%. This works for elemental chaos traps as well, so this is really quite good. That's the first one. The second one is on your helmet. You're looking for volatile schematics. This increases trap effect radius by a percentage. I've seen up to 16%. So those are the 2 kind of core secondary stats you're looking for. As usual, having superconductor on your helmet and other pieces is good. Having channel on your helmet's nice. On your gloves, having service call or finglonger is nice. There are a number of passive for blaze balloons on your gear that you can get. I haven't really tested too much of blaze balloon build. From what I have tested, I'm not a big fan, given that they cost 50, and for that you could actually build almost 3 elemental chaos traps, which, although they wouldn't cover as much area, they're still better in my opinion. Ideally, you'd also get a relic and a bow with Flame-Ageddon, which increases piercing shot damage. That would probably be for DPS, but even as a builder it helps a little bit to have that. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. So on most of my pieces of gear, I've either got defense power and defense crit, or defense power and defense health. As you can see here, it's kind of split 50-50 with what I have. I probably have more health than necessary, and on my pet I have defense health and defense power as well. If I place an explosive trap, you'll see that I have 276 charges currently. They pretty much never run out in anything I do, even if I don't upgrade them for an entire game. I could probably stand to sacrifice some trap health for defense crit. I will show you that. So I've just laid an an elemental chaos trap, and by taking the Uber off, I can now lay an explosive trap. However, my elemental chaos trap still stays as elemental chaos. So this means that you can build, as I said, maps that have physical lanes by equipping your elemental chaos Uber, putting your traps down in the physical resist lane, and then taking that Uber off and going to magic resist lanes and placing your explosive traps. Elemental Chaos traps have a larger range to them and have a little bit less health, 5 charges, but they do roughly 300 more damage for me. You can see that, and they also recharge slower, but DPS is higher. So another reason why Elemental Chaos is really just the best Uber right now. Is they cover good range, they do a lot of damage, they only cost 20 DU, and they give you a lot of utility. So that about wraps it up for the Trapping Huntress. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them, and I'll get back to you.